In this video, we're going to chat about incorporating virtual nursing into hospital units. Hey, I'm Emma, founder of Nurse Fern, your hub for remote and non-bedside nursing jobs. Information, articles, community, I've got it all for you. And if you can give this video a quick thumbs up, I always appreciate those. Hospitals around the country have been rolling out programs that incorporate virtual nurses into the on-site care team. And it would seem even the most skeptical of bedside nurses and patients who have participated in these programs have enjoyed and found value in them. Okay, maybe enjoyed was a strong word. In pilot programs, they seem to be effective. Virtual hospital nurses most often work remotely from a communications facility, not from home, and assist with time-consuming tasks like admissions, discharges, patient education, pain reassessment, and are available to help field patient questions, and patients can access their virtual nurse with a click of a button. This sounds cool, but I gotta admit that as a bedside nurse, I'd probably be wondering how virtual nurses found these jobs and why this nurse is on a TV potentially while I'm in the room doing patient care. So how do nurses end up in these virtual nursing departments? A short time ago, I had a conversation with two nurses. It was about how to incorporate more innovative ideas into bedside nursing that would help reduce burnout, shake things up a little bit, and keep nurses in patient care roles while also allowing them to expand their skill sets. One of the things we chatted about was the idea of this hybrid virtual nurse environment where a nurse could potentially be at the bedside a couple days a week and then have one day in like a quality or a case management role. Now, when we had this conversation, it was pretty much pie in the sky because it was something that we knew nurses would like, but we also know things like that can be a hard sell. So when you see a company or an option to do this virtual nurse on a screen while there's also a nurse on site doing the hands-on tasks, it makes you wonder if there is a different model available. Now, you might be wondering at this point in our conversation how nurses get into these positions. If you're like me, if I was at the bedside and I had a nurse on a TV screen helping with essential tasks like admissions and discharge and pain reassessments, things that take up my time, not only would I be grateful, a little bit confused about that person being there, that would take some getting used to, but I would also wonder how they got into that role and if it was something I could do. So here's how most of these models look or work. Some nurses fully transfer into a virtual department within their own hospital. They still work for the same hospital system. They're just in a new department and they're in a new location conducting these virtual visits. I am dropping a link to a PBS Newshour below that follows a nurse and Houston Methodist talking about how they have this virtual remote nursing model, and one of the main nurses they interview was a bedside nurse and now works in their virtual unit. Other nurses have been hired through contracted companies who run the virtual nursing software programming. To cite another source, there's a couple articles from Becker's that I'm going to drop in the description. They talk about companies like care.ai that hire nurses to do this. So if you are on the unit as a nurse, you wouldn't have this hybrid accessibility to that. You would have to be employed by the company that the hospital contracted the software and the service through. But this still leaves off a solution that seems obvious to myself and other nurses out there. Why not open it up as an avenue for a hybrid opportunity for nurses who want to work hands-on clinical, but also would like to have a day or two away from the bedside? This seems like a win-win, built-in camaraderie with your team because you already know them and you understand the challenges on the ground that the team is facing because you are also one of them. And that brings me to a job posting we can review with Sanford Health that is not open anymore, unfortunately, but it is a good post to review that's a hybrid innovations unit position. So this is a now closed remote med-surg RN innovations unit job posting with Sanford Health. Unfortunately, I didn't get the screen recording done before the official posting on their career page closed, but luckily enough, LinkedIn hasn't taken down the post even though they're not accepting applications anymore. So our job title and employer, Remote Med-Surg RN Innovations Unit, Sanford Health, pay scale, super helpful. I love that. And then when we scroll down a little bit, we get to the About This Job section. So we're going to get a little bit about what Sanford Health is, that it's one of the largest not-for-profit health systems in the US. When we talk about their innovation unit, this is a unit specific in their hospital where, for lack of a better term, they get to play with new ideas. Employees can submit ideas and They work through the kinks and figure out what innovations truly help nursing and patient care and what things probably shouldn't be rolled out to the rest of the hospital. So it is pretty cool that they have this. Now let's keep on scrolling. They do say remote nursing at Stanford, so that is a little annoying because this isn't a fully remote role. But let's look at this first bullet point here. The remote hybrid nurse role helps increase efficiency by relieving bedside staff of non-clinical and documentation responsibilities. As a remote nurse, there's flexibility with a work mix of floor shifts and virtual nurse shifts. So that's the cool thing that's in there. You'll have a mix of being the virtual nurse and then also being the clinical nurse on the floor, observing what's happening and working with the other team members who have virtual nurse shifts that day. And then they go into the remote tasks that include some that we already covered in the video, like admission navigator, I&O documentation, activity documentation, pain reassessments, education. They also reiterate that you'll be fully trained in this position, which I truly hope you would be. Remote nursing is intended to free up bedside nurses' time to focus care using our current nurse-to-patient ratios, which can improve patient care outcomes and interactions. Qualifications. You need to graduate from an accredited nursing program. They do prefer, but don't require, a bachelor's degree in nursing. And then you need to hold an RN license with the state board or possess multi-state licensure. But since this is an on-site role, likely that is going to be a North Dakota compact license. Other hospitals, according to Becker's review, who have implemented virtual nursing include Providence, Common Spirit, Orlando Health, Mary Washington Healthcare, Advent Health, Vanderbilt, Children's of Wisconsin, Texas Children's, and WellSpan. In the spirit of my favorite game, Would You Rather, here's a question. Would you rather be in remote nursing or bedside? I usually say no halvesies, but maybe there's a halvesies after all. So drop a comment and let me know if this would be your perfect happy place in nursing, being able to have a few days at the bedside with a few days in a non-bedside position. Check out one of these next videos, I don't know if it's gonna be here or here, to learn more about remote nursing.